my name is Jonas Hangvar. I've been playing disc golf since 2001 and this is my in the bag video. I'm putting with my judges. I switched to judges after experiencing at the 2 tournament that my current putters were flipping in headwinds. So the judges for me are really reliable, also in headwinds. And I usually don't like beaded discs, but I like them when putting, because I can put the finger at the bead. For throwing, I have as my understable throwing putter a Pure in 0 medium plastic. For straight shots, I've just, based on advice from a good friend in the club, I switched to West Side Discs Maiden. I'm really curious about how they will fly, hopefully similar to my Pures, but slightly more stable and straight. As my approach disc with stability, I have a harp, which I use both for forehand as well as backhand drives. Really reliable. I had some problems with the grip in the beginning because I experienced that the disc is a bit deep, but over time I got used to it. So now it's a really nice stable complement to the putter side. Over to mid-ranges. I have 2 molds of mid-ranges. I really like the Fujis over molds. And if you look carefully, you will see that I have 1 flippy Fuji and 1 straight. I marked them here with my pencil. And these are really my go-to discs. I can make them go up to 90 meters on a good day. And the flippy one is not extremely flippy, it's just turning over very nicely. And I can give it a bit of a hyzer and make it flip up and go straight. And the straight one is straight with a tendency towards stability, so some fade at the end. So I really like these Fujis. And the flippy one holds the line really nicely on anhyzers. My verdict is my stable complement on the mid-range side. It's a really reliable disc also in the wind, although not a real mid-took, so it's got a decent fade at the end, but it's still I can still make it go almost as far as my Fujis. But much more reliable, especially in the wind. On the fairway spectrum, I carry 3 discs. I have 1 river for my flippy shots. I really like it. It's nice to grip, and it gives me these long flights where it keeps holding the turn for the entire flight. Then I have a Saint. It's quite an old one, gold plastic, but this is a really versatile fairway driver in my opinion. So I can put it on a hyzer, make it flip up and go straight for a long ways. I can throw it flat and it will come over in an S-shaped turn with a little fade at the end. And I can also put it on an anhyzer similar to my river, where it will be slightly more stable, but still very controllable in all angles. And quite recently I've added an Explorer to my lineup. So this is the disc I'm throwing usually flat, which has a clear fade at the end, really reliable and a good nice complement to the Saint, especially if there is a bit of a headwind. up to the speed around 9-10ish, something like that. I carry as my roller disc a Trilogy Challenge stamped Thief, which has gone out of production, but I really like this for rollers. It's got a nice, it holds its roller line for a long time, coming over to the right if I throw it back in, as I usually do at the end, but you can get some really long roller shots out of this. And I also use it with success on forehands, where I want the flip to S over and come back at the very end. So as you can probably tell, my forehand strength or velocity is not as good as my backhand, but this is a really nice controllable disc for me throwing forward. Next one is a really good disc, maybe the one I like best in my bag. It's the Musket, and this one is stamped with a tournament we visited this summer, Big Hill King in Germany. And the Musket is a versatile disc. I can throw it straight, it will fly very straight for a very long period of time. So this disc is almost as long as my distance drivers, but with much less risk, I feel, when throwing it. But I can also put it, if there's a bit of headwind, on a small hyzer, and it will come up, and it will hold its line very nicely on an anhyzer. So I can really recommend the Musket. Moving on to the overstable part of these hybrid drivers, I have the Felon, which I use mainly as a forehand disc, or if I need to be certain that I will get a fade throwing backhand. What I like about the Felon is, compared to other overstable discs in this segment I've thrown before, is that I can still get a decent distance out of it. So it's not extremely overstable from the start of the flight, but it will for sure hook up at the end of the flight. So that's nice. On the distance driver section, I got two swords. One in the tournament plastic, which is my flippy one. And this disc goes a long way, and the flippy one is really nice to use on hyzer angles where I can throw it really hard. It will flip up, it might come over a bit to the right, throwing backhand, and finish pretty straight. I can throw it flat, I will get a big S-turn if I give it enough height. And I can even roll it if I put it on an hyzer angle and throw it firmly. My VIP sword, which is a pretty new disc, I mean not worn in, is a really good distance disc for me. Throw it flat with a good rip or a good hit, and it will S and give me close to my max distance. But it's also usable putting angles both hyzer and anhyzer. So sword is a really nice disc for me. And it's complemented by my Raiders. This one is only 168 in weight, but it's still a reliable disc, which can give me some turn at the middle of the flight. But a reliable fade and still a good distance. That's another thing I like about the Raider, that it finishes forward and give me a good distance, even though it's a more stable disc than sword. My Lucid Raider is one notch up in terms of stability, so it complements the other Raider well. It's full weight in windier conditions. And finally, sort of my utility disc, or if we have really strong winds and I need to have something I can trust. So I've thrown this from the top of the world hole at Järva in full headwind, and it might come over ever so slightly, but then reliably fade back. It's my scythe, given to me by Peter Fredriksson or Magnholt. So I'm really happy for these discs. They also serve a purpose for throwing forehands when I want the disc to hook up almost immediately, coming around the corner or something like that. And it's also useful for overhand shots. So that's my bag. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.